Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Good Game Roundtable podcast. I'm Lin Jie Kong, and yes, we're back at the Roundtable for the final episode of the year as we wrap up all the best and worst moments of 2016. With me will be a rotating stable of good game people who are still left in the office, unfortunately. First up, it's Peter Burns and Gus Ronald.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, we didn't do a mic test. I'm worried.
Yeah, we did a mic test.
We did a mic test?
Because you talk so much. You were just sitting there talking near enough to your mic.
I've been doing a lot of that this week and annoying a lot of people.
I liked how you tripped over yourself during lunch. Like you interrupted yourself during the conversation.
I just have a lot to say sometimes.
Stories on stories.
I'll be quiet for this, though.
Can you write a novel?
Today at lunch.
So I'm going to be asking everyone a bunch of questions about the year. And I'd like to know your thoughts. So, most memorable moment of 2016, guys?
I mean, it's hard to go past. All three of us were there, E3, as like, not a moment, but a moment in time. 'Tis but a moment in time.
It was a long
When you look back on it,
a year.
It was a full
a
week,
long week that felt like one big memory. Like, we didn't sleep well, so it all just felt like one long day.
You were in a shoebox.
So I was in the cupboard, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, the other big one this year was the 10th birthday that we filmed, which was in front of a live audience, which was pretty amazing. And to have camera crew and sort of makeup and guests and everything there, it was a real spectacle and it was fun to be a part of. So yeah, I'd say E3 or the 10th birthday special highlights.
I'd say GDC for me.
Yeah,
E3 was pretty good.
But San Francisco isn't much nicer.
You didn't have us there for that.
You're basically doing the same thing in a cooler place.
I had more than 1 week to prep for that trip.
You had more prep. You had a cooler crew, and you were in a cooler city.
It was a better city.
Yeah.
LA was pretty good. I was talking to Pete about this last week or something, maybe a couple of weeks ago. The place that we stayed at during E3 was a block away from the worst part of downtown LA.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of LA? It's like everything's right on top of each other.
That's all the worst part of it's just a horrible city.
I forget what it was called. It was like the Golden Mile or not Golden Mile.
Yeah. Well,
but it was like the most atrocious. Skid Row. Thank you, Ariane. Skid Row. We stayed a block away from Skid Row.
But that's like any city. It's like the coolest place is the gentrified area just next to the worst place. So it has the risk and reward.
Except Bajo walked through Skid Row by himself.
Yeah, but he looks homeless.
On the first day. And had I known, I think I would have freaked out, but I didn't know, so it was fine.
He is the most assaultable member of the Good Game team, just like on appearance.
Yeah.
He also was willing to get out of the accommodation that we'd booked. What was it on the first day? He looked at it and said, what did he say? He said,
this is the second or third best.
I thought it was worst.
Third worst.
Third worst place I've ever stayed. And we'd literally walked in for the first 15 minutes. So, he has high standards.
Yes. Okay, so worst moment of 2016?
Oh, wow.
That's tough. You're making us call something out.
Doesn't have to be about good game. I definitely know what my worst moment was of the year.
Why don't you start us off then?
Oh, the US election. Undoubtedly.
Oh, wow. Suddenly all my things feel really petty in comparison to that.
I mean, it was between, I think, what's happening in Syria right now and the US election.
See, I was going to say something really personal and boring. Like
stub my toe again.
Like, Warcraft, the film was really shit. And you're like, there was Syria.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Aleppo.
Have you been to Aleppo?
What's in Aleppo? I mean, it's been a pretty crap year, or it's been sort of a running gag near the end that it's been a really rough year, and that is very true. I mean, on a personal level, the show has been doing pretty well, but it's been one of the most exhausting years we've ever done.
It's been an absolutely exhausting year.
We've done a lot in and around the show, so I mean, yeah, as much as I love it, it's a good year to put behind us and see how things go next year.
It felt like a very long year. I mean, I just talked to JP earlier today, and I was surprised that this has been his first year being full-time on the show. And it felt like he's been on the show for 5 years or something.
This is our camera guy who's done every trip overseas this year with us as well. So he's like,
JP, so you're going to San Fran next week. You okay with that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He bottles it all up.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Peter?
Worst moment? I don't have one. I don't know. Like
Day-to-day pocket.
The year was bad, but it's all like... I've been on this podcast enough for you all to know how much I hate everything, so...
I feel
just
like
living was
hate
bad
everything
enough.
with a smile, though.
I feel like you're so dead inside now, Peter. Like you've actually gotten worse throughout the year.
Yeah, I just need a break, I think.
I think you do. I think
It's been tough for us to see the incorruptible youth of Peter be slowly, eaten away at by the torments of the year and working on
You threw a bit
Pocket.
of a tanty at the lunch table yesterday. You were like,
Did I?
we were talking about the restructure of the ABC foyer.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you were
that's
like,
bullshit, though.
And you were like, people don't give a shit. People in Blacktown don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit about what the ABC foyer looks like.
You know what? If I've just thought of like my actual, if it had to be associated with the show,
Yeah.
my worst moment of 2016, and this is, you're going to roll your eyes
Yeah.
at this, is when Pete and I had a fight. We had a fight at E3.
Oh, no.
Which, again, back to that, where we were staying up late and we were working hard next to each other and we were making our little daily show. And tensions were high and, quality level of show was low. And we had a little tiff and we both went to bed angry. And they say you should never go to bed angry.
And then you kissed and made up.
Like it was all good after 5 minutes.
Oh, see, that's the thing. I take it.
Yeah.
I
You
let
were
it bubble
harbouring
and
it, yeah.
stew all night.
How do you guys fight? Like, do you just keep it in, bottled up, and just seethe at each other? Like, is that what happens?
No, I was just really short.
Yeah, I could see that, Pete.
And
Yeah,
again, I got
good.
left with that in my little cupboard, and I just rolled around anxiously thinking about all the horrible things Pete was thinking about me, and then he was probably just passed out asleep. And so we got up in the morning. But what was nice is we both kind of went to apologise at the same time. We both kind of gave it a nod. It was a blokey apology. It was kind of like, we good? Yep.
Pats on the back.
Yeah, let's
Good.
get on with
Good
it.
to go.
Yeah.
So
Have a beer.
there you go.
There you go. And then Pete had about 4 whiskeys that night.
I didn't get to go out with you guys. So
Was that night?
Yeah. That was the night that you were pissed at Gus.
no, it was the night
No,
after.
I'm always
I was
pissed
a
at
night-
Yeah, I'm always pissed at Gus.
We have fun here.
Speaking about worst moments of 2016, it has been a year for most heartbreaking celebrity deaths. What was the most heartbreaking celebrity death of 2016 for you?
Wow.
So you're just going through a list right now,
I'm
Gus.
pulling up a list now because I can think of the ones that popped to mind are the ones that were the most prevalent on headlines and things, but there were quite a few.
Yeah.
Pete?
I mean, David Bowie's the big one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that I have the most emotional attachment to just through his music. Like, Alan Rickman is a superstar, but I wasn't a big Harry Potter fan. I feel like a lot of people love him for that character of Snape, and I'd take or leave it, but I always enjoyed him on screen. He was like, his beautiful tone and cadence,
Yeah.
and he was always impressive on screen. But
Die Hard, man. Die.
yeah, and Die Hard. Gruber is like the ultimate villain.
Hans.
But I feel like just I listened to a lot of David Bowie growing up because of my parents, and then have explored his music since. And yeah.
I'd actually
affecting.
say, he had a long life, so it was nice. But Gene Wilder was one that when that happened, it was like, this is going to sound pretty bad. But I honestly thought when that happened, I was like, oh, I'd actually thought he might have passed away recently.
Yeah,
already.
because he was in like his 80s or something.
Yeah, he was really old. But then it was just one of those moments that when you saw that person, you thought they'd had a great life, and all the news stories were reflecting on his career. And you saw his career, movies, and, appearances back to back, and went, everything he did was so joyful and so, not, to take away from the other deaths, but you go, wow, that's really someone who is from another era who is gone now. And, that I found that quite upsetting, actually.
Yeah. Take Mel Brooks instead.
Oh, man, he's going to keep going, keep making his movies.
Yeah, he won't stop.
I think it's probably Alan Rickman for me. I mean, I kind of got into David Bowie really late. I got into Prince really late. So for me, I didn't grow up with these people. But Alan Rickman, man, I grew up with all of his films.
Yeah.
And then most recently, a writer called A.A. Gill, who is a massive food restaurant critic and also an incredible writer. And he passed away, I think, last week. And no one really knew that he was sick. And it's often one of those things where you find out, oh, wow, that person was sick. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hasn't been a good year. Let's all keep David Attenborough really safe.
Oh, man.
He won't die.
Yeah. And
He won't,
Kirk Douglas just turned 100.
Wait, didn't he die?
Didn't he?
I'm sure he's dead.
I don't know. Quickly Google that.
I'll Google that one as well. No, quickly on David Attenborough.
Yeah.
He's one as well that you think he's such a treasure, and he's, very old. And he did that new series recently, and he's, obviously you think he's doing it all from the comfort of a voice recording booth. And the opening shot of Planet Earth 2 is him in a hot air balloon. It's like, get him out of there. Get him in a warm room somewhere.
Just the change of temperature from cold to hot could be enough to knock him
oh,
down.
man, a slight breeze could knock that guy out. But, fingers crossed.
Take care of him, BBC.
Yes.
National treasure. All right, quick run through best game of the year. I know Pocket already did this, so don't want to retread.
Yeah, I landed on Battlefield 1. solely because everyone was going to say Uncharted 4, but not enough people said Uncharted 4, so I'm going to say Uncharted 4.
Okay.
It was just, I think it's, yeah, a lot of games did really good things this year, but I feel like it was the one that showed us what, again, Naughty Dog showed us what games should be storytelling-wise.
Yep.
And nothing ever comes close, in my opinion, storytelling-wise.
Well, I disagree. I'd say Firewatch for me was the game of the year. It's the game that really encapsulated 2016. I'm probably going to be playing Battlefield 1 and Overwatch for many more years or a lot longer. And I'm playing Overwatch like crazy at the moment. So, having a lot of fun with them. But Firewatch was this experience, and it was a very condensed experience that, I got a lot out of. And I'm never going to play it again. And that's kind of why I like picking a game that just, was that single moment in the year for me. So that The Last Guardian, didn't. I was hoping it would be that, but yeah, Firewatch.
You had so much to say because I overheard you discussing it with Elliot, and you kind of came in and you were like,
I'm torn.
You
about
wanted
that.
to love it so much, but then there were obvious issues with the gameplay that you just went,
look, I won't go into it. It's a beautiful game, and I think Pete's playing it at the moment. And it's one of those games that while you're playing it, you don't enjoy it as much as once it's finished and behind you, and it kind of haunts you, and you think about it and you see a lot of it, and you just think, I remember that experience very vividly. But whether or not I was having fun the whole way through, no, I would say it was a little disappointing on that front. Plus, it caused my PlayStation 4 to almost take off because it just kills the machine. But that's another story.
You need a pro.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 for me. I mean, hands down. Only game I played all year. It's the only game that matters,
By
guys.
default,
right.
but sure.
Only game that matters, to be honest.
Could be Mario Run. I'm literally staring at my phone,
No.
waiting for it to drop,
unlock,
and it still hasn't come out yet. So could be that.
Best movie, TV show. Now, Peter, you've seen Rogue One. No one else has.
Yeah.
Would it rank up there?
I mean, I can't remember what else I watched this year.
I mean,
it
what
was
else
very
came out
good.
this year?
It was very good. TV show, probably Westworld has been the most interesting storytelling. And yeah, film, let's say Rogue One because I'm a massive Star Wars nerd.
And you just saw it twice.
And you saw it twice
night,
within
so
like 4
fresh.
hours.
I did. I bought tickets to the midnight screening and I was lucky enough to go to the premiere as well, which was like a few hours before that. So I saw it
La-dee-da.
almost back to back 2 times. And while I was in the cinema, one of my mates pointed out that and he was incorrect, but it was a lovely thought that in Australia, I was the person who had seen the most of Rogue One at that point in time to see the screening so close back to back.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure someone who went to the premiere as well went to a midnight screening. I was at 12:15, so I missed out by 15 minutes.
I'm going to guess Zootopia.
Wait, you're picking that, or you're
No, I'm talking
you
about
can
you.
have that. You
I'm
can have
talking
that.
No,
That
I'm
was
not.
this year?
I'm not picking Zootopia for my favorite.
It was a good film, very good film. TV show would be Stranger Things for me.
Oh yes,
That is the best TV show I've ever seen in my life.
Netflix count as television?
Yeah, I would say hands down, Stranger Things was just such.
You're right. It's better
incredible-
than Westworld.
It is. Yeah. Totally amazing. Nervous for the second season, but I've been listening to the soundtrack like crazy. Should probably go back and rewatch it, but it just stands alone as such a wonderful TV viewing experience. I binged it all in 2 sittings, I think, which is what everyone does these days, but it's exhausting, but it's great. Movie would be Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh yeah.
Which
That's
is the New Zealand flick with Sam Neill and that adorable New Zealand kid who I actually don't know his name. But really love that film. Have loved showing people that film, and sometimes that's a really nice thing as well. Just when you love something and you enjoy watching other people watch it and try not to talk through it, which I struggle doing.
I would like to change all of my answers to
Okay, go
Gus's
ahead.
answers for the rest of the podcast.
Do you know I'm just on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and Zootopia is the highest ranked film of 2016 at
What's next?
98%. And next is Hell or High Water. Whatever that is.
was getting
I don't
great
know.
reviews, but didn't get a chance to watch that one.
Arrival was
saying?
also good.
I think it's been a
Impressive.
bit of a year for films.
Well-
I enjoyed a lot of films like Hunt for the Wilder People. Arrival, I really, really enjoyed.
Arrival was a nice surprise.
But
I think.
nothing
Yeah.
that kind of leaps out in my mind and go, that I go, oh my God, that was freaking amazing.
You didn't
Like,
shut
you know.
off about Zootopia.
I didn't have my Creed
Zootopia.
moment. I didn't have that moment where I walked out of the cinema and was like, I need to tell people about this and I need everyone to watch this.
See, I'm going through the list right now. I saw Hail Caesar. I was like, that was okay.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You know,
enough.
The Lobster was okay. That was a very weird film.
It's weird, went too long.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite. maybe Star Wars will be
was
my favorite.
Deadpool was
Hopefully
this
Star Wars
year.
will be. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool might have been
Deadpool
my
was this
most
year.
disappointing film.
I think Warcraft was the worst.
Yeah,
by
but my
far.
expectations were so low for that
versus-
already.
Yeah.
Like
reality.
Deadpool, I had expectations for and was hearing good, rumors
Yeah.
of people saying it's actually really good, and I found it incredibly grating. I think we might have already vented about that a while back in a podcast. So yeah, that was pretty painful. But yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, I didn't see many of the blockbusters. Television, though, amazing. Westworld, I
Yep.
think my most read about and talked about TV show of the year. But I think my favorite.
She's gonna say Crown.
No, I'm not going to say The Crown because I still haven't finished The Crown. I'm like
right.
an episode off The Crown.
Okay.
I think it's a great show. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But it's not my favorite. My favorite is Insecure. Which is a,
Oh,
which is
yeah,
a small
yeah.
dramedy. I mean, it's more drama than comedy on HBO.
Short series, like a.
Yeah, it was like 8 episodes, like 24-minute episodes, and its creator is Issa Rae, and she did a web series 5-6 years ago called Awkward Adventures of Black Girl, and it's an amazing TV show. It's like in the vein of Transparent. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have seen that, but
watched that yet,
it's
but
like
I heard Girls. As well.
Girls meets Atlanta, but like a black version of Girls, basically.
right.
And in terms of storytelling, performances, writing, wow, like
Yeah, cool.
crazy good.
The only other one that springs to mind, and you might correct me, this might have been last year, but was the Tom Hiddleston spy.
Oh, The Night Manager.
The Night Manager. Was
Yeah.
that this year? Or was that,
That was
last
like early
year?
this year. That was like January.
That was
I think.
early
very
this
good.
year. That was definitely another one that really, really made me stand up and pay attention. Sit up. Sit up and pay attention.
Sit up and pay attention. To quote Sister Act 2.
Yeah, sure.
Wake up and
Back in the habit.
What is your takeaway from 2016?
These are big
I would
questions.
say it hasn't been a big fish and chip year, but probably pizza. It's been the most takeaway that I've had.
Oh my God.
there it is. A dad
Took a
joke.
moment to click in there.
Peter.
Those dad jokes.
Peter Burns. You're not even a dad
I'm more
yet.
of an Uber Eats man myself.
Yeah, I've been hearing
Yeah.
good things.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, you don't get another
Sorry, I
one. so-
ruined that answer for everyone.
Yeah, I guess I would say moderation for me. I've been definitely from the start of this year, I decided to sort of pull back on the amount of time I put into any one particular thing. And that's kind of paid off well in terms of games, socializing, time
Your
to
work
myself,
hours.
my work hours. But yeah, just making sure that I don't do one thing too much.
Yeah.
Because, I did a little bit of that last year, and it made me sort of resent the thing I was working on a lot
Yeah.
and prioritize it over the others. So, I mean, that's a bit better than pizza.
That was a very adult answer.
Thank you.
Well, we are adults. Pete's still,
Wow.
Pete's still kind of mid-20s, really.
Yeah.
He's got a way to go.
Terribly for
Borderline.
your young age.
Got the wrinkles. Got the wrinkles.
Do we ask you that one, or are you going to save that for the end of your
No, you can
list?
ask me that one.
Sure, Lynn. Your
My takeaway is go hard or go home.
All right.
Can I go home then?
I think this year has taught me to be uncompromisingly fearless in everything and just to go for it.
It's better than my answer, which was better than Pete's answer. So I think you win.
Yeah, by default.
Yeah. I don't get the whole fearless thing. You should have fear. Fear keeps you alive as a human. Like, if you have no fear, you're just going to jump out of a plane without a parachute.
Well, when I say uncompromisingly fearless, like you still have that fear, but you don't have
Harness
the
the
fear
power
that
of it.
holds you back.
Yeah.
Because the important thing is that you still need to feel that stress and that fear, especially if you're creating, or if you're being creative,
How
right?
can you have courage if you have no fear?
Exactly. But it's the type of negating anxiety and fear that stops you.
Yeah.
I think is important to get rid of and just go, well, you don't really have much to lose right now. So
I don't think even that. No, I agree with you. And just to add on to mine, it's like I've been working on that personally. It's like, just those levels of checking yourself too many times. Sometimes you go, hang on, why am I even, there are reasons to just sort of take in your surrounds and make sure that what you're doing is sensible. But at the same time, sometimes you can put too many stopgaps there and you think, just take that decision, take the plunge, sorry. And
I think my resolution was, well, it turned out to be my resolution. My 30th resolution was give like less fucks given and also embrace awkwardness. That was like my New Year's resolution for.
How old are you now?
I'm 30.
Yeah.
So turning 31.
I hear that's the year.
So-
that's the year where you become most comfortable with yourself.
So in January 2016, that was like, okay, that's my end.
yeah.
And it has turned out that a year on, it's been just be less sensible.
Well, if you keep going the way down that path, you'll end up like Barjo.
And I'm like, that's not entirely how, it was meant to pan out of it.
Baby
so
steps.
far, pretty good. To finish on, what are you excited about in 2017?
Well, again, I keep keeping everything show orientated at the moment, but I'm really pumped for next year for our show because obviously we can't say too much, but I think we're, taking it as a chance to freshen up the format a little bit and be adventurous and be a lot more flexible. And I think it's going to be really exciting. I know we say that probably at the start of every year, but this one in particular, I think we have a lot of forces changing.
Yeah, there are some big changes, I think, coming. And I did, Elliot and I mentioned a little bit in his bit for Humans of Good Game. And I think there is some really interesting things in store for the audience next year.
Yeah, and also I think that means, challenges for us that we haven't faced before. And as I said, it's sort of one of those things that, if we dive in head first and just go, sure, we're going to embrace this and we're going to make it our own and we're not going to be hesitant, then I think it's going to be a really exciting year. So work is what I'm excited about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Peter.
Yeah.
Be less tired.
That's the kind of biggest thing we all have on the horizon, I think. Well, at least it's the thing I'm thinking about the most is, what we're looking forward to in next year's season of Good Game and the shows surrounding it and
I think I'm right in saying that we're, I think we're beyond playing it safe now. We get really excited to, I think, push the boundaries. God, that sounds like some real wank terms. But, I think
throw things against the wall and watch things stick.
See
or
what
slide
sticks
down.
or just put holes in walls by doing that. But I think, with that comes a bit of adventurousness that we're all going to just really stick our necks out and have. And with that will come more fun with the show, I hope. So, yeah,
for sure.
More fun.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Will that be your one game of the year play?
Yes. And then in 2018, it's going to be Last of Us 2. So I've already planned out my gaming for the next 2 years.
Are you going to play the DLC for Uncharted 4?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that 8-minute teaser, whatever. Give it to me now, Naughty Dog. Yes.
I'm just trying to think quickly. My big pick for next year, what I'm really looking forward to, I'm drawing a blank. Outside of those ones which just got announced. Pete?
Yeah, I mean, it's Naughty Dog's killed that Sony PlayStation experiencing the other day.
Yeah.
It's hard to think about anything other than those two clips. But
it's like, what do you mean we have to wait 2 years?
There'll probably be another Halo next year. They'll announce it.
Oh, God, you said that so.
Surely Assassin's Creed's coming back next year?
Yeah,
had a year
Egypt Assassin's Creed should be next year.
Oh, wow. It'd be hard to climb pyramids, though. You'll kind of slide down as you sort of scale it.
Yeah.
Hard to jump off them.
Maybe Assassin's Creed will be my film of the year, Peter.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
Come on.
Nah.
Come on. Hope springs eternal.
Just put that horse down now. It's like a movie video.
Shoot the horse now. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
What a year. What a year.
It has been.
It's been amazing working with you both.
Me too. And thank you for these, Lynn. These have been fun.
Yeah, it's good.
I think that'd be good.
Cathartic.
It's therapy. I mean, I think of it as therapy for everyone.
You've called it the Good Game Roundtable. It should be the Good Game Chaise Lounge or the Good Game Therapy Couch because that's where we come to.
Good game therapy.
Yeah.
It keeps us sane somewhat.
Book me in for another session next year, please.
Yeah, I'm done. Thanks very much, guys.
Yay.
Prost.
Cheers.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thanks, water
guys.
bottles there.
And next, it's our production coordinators, Radyo and Sam Gordon. Sam Rad. Rad Sam.
Are we on?
Yep.
Hi.
Check.
Check.
Checky check.
Check.
Ba 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 ba.
Ba 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 ba. Sam Rad Sam. Lin.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey. What's your most memorable moment in 2016?
Most memorable, getting a dog. He's not home yet, but that's it. That's the one.
Yes, doggy.
Having a dog.
Just
great.
because your life is better than mine, Sam.
I couldn't think of
don't need you to
anything
rub it
in-
in. I'm Sam. I had a dog all year. I didn't have to wait to the end of the year.
Yeah, but soon you'll have a better life than Sam because you'll have a dog.
Yeah, mine's a puppy.
Yeah, you have a puppy.
I think I'm going
Puppies
to
are so much
hate it
fun.
for like 4 months. Because apparently you get no sleep and it bites everything and they're just really frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he'll
But
be
they're
good.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to touch his belly.
Now, I know no one remembers anything from the show, previous to last week. I mean,
No.
what did we do for the Christmas special? No one knows.
There was a last week. Yeah.
Well, I
that
mean,
was
do you
only
guys
a week ago?
do you guys remember like anything from the show in the entirety of this year?
I remember bits and pieces,
But it's all PTSD now, so you know.
but I remember it all through the haze of loud siren noises and like filters where it judders back and forth.
Yeah.
What's one of the judder that you remember?
Well, let's combine this. What is the most memorable, either good or bad moment of 2016 on Good Game? Did we do live shows this year? We did.
Yes,
didn't
Yeah,
we?
we
did.
did.
Yeah, that felt like a long time ago.
That does feel like a long, long time ago.
I think I said this before, but one of my favorite days was when Ben Brode came in.
Yeah.
He's like the Hearthstone game director.
That just made your year.
yeah. I
Sam
love
was
that
like,
game.
"I'm
And I
done.
love
Thank you very
him.
much. I don't need to work
And
anymore."
his laugh just warmed my soul. So that was a
Yeah,
fun day.
Ben Brode's heaps great.
Yeah.
Most memorable was that was last year.
Hosting good game.
Hosting good. Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, you were in the red chair.
I did that.
Yeah.
I hosted. Hosting good game's a good one actually. Because that was a surprise. I was almost leaving work that day, and then Janet was like, "So Steph is sick. Do you want to host Good Game tomorrow?" I was like, "What?" And so I had to like quickly sit down and play the games and stuff. And yeah, no, it was good though.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so what has been the most heartbreaking celebrity death of 2016 for you guys?
I don't really get heartbroken over celebrity deaths.
Okay, that's great.
I will get heartbroken when Julie Andrews dies, though.
Yes.
Actually, I may not
Sammy?
care.
Anyone?
A lot of people died this year.
I feel like you guys are a bit too young to appreciate.
Alan Rickman. For me.
True.
Yeah.
I think I just don't
I
care
love him.
about celebrities
Loved him.
in that way.
You know what? That is a good thing to have, Brad. I think that's actually. I think most people should be like
But
that.
I only cried when my grandma died because she died in front of me. Other than that, I'm not
Ooh.
sure I would have cried.
That's heaps brutal.
Jeez.
She was in hospital. Like, it was
That
fine.
is-
Like, we knew,
that
it
is
wasn't
super
like a
brutal, man.
surprise. Anyway,
okay.
you can cut that out if you want to.
No, that's staying in. It just shows how strong you are, Rad. Best game of the year.
On Pocket, I said Inside, but I'm changing my answer and saying Batman VR. Because I laughed a lot in it, and I don't normally laugh. Oh, no, that's not true. I do laugh in games. But I laughed, like, a lot. So, yeah.
Oh, I still need to play that. On the Pocket app, I said Overwatch, and I'm going to say Overwatch now too, because it's
A real Overwatch operator.
a real Overwatch specialist. I just play it all the time. It's so much fun.
Watch out for that Overwatch. Lynn's just like, okay.
Like, God, what did I ask these two on?
It's great. I really enjoy your company. It makes me feel youthful.
The sarcasm.
Yeah. It's like, remember when I was young and I thought everything was irrelevant? I mean, I still do. What was your takeaway from 2016? What did you learn? I mean, hopefully you learn something new every year that you can put towards your life skills and improve yourself.
That standing up for yourself really sucks and it's really hard, but you have to because everyone that can take advantage of you will.
Good advice, Rad, for all those young'uns out there.
Knowledge bomb for you.
Yep.
What did I take away from this year? It's been a year.
That's the phrase, the go-to phrase
yeah.
now.
Oh, wait, my second takeaway is you can go online and get books printed and you can fill those books with pictures of memes and they don't stop you. They'll just print it and send it to you.
Yep. My takeaway is that
So to explain, well, Rad gave Sam a book of memes for a Christmas present. It's beautiful.
with my face on the cover and her face on the back.
And they didn't ask me any questions. They just printed it and
It's
sent
just
it.
amazing. Oh, it's so good.
Incredible. What a time to be alive.
My takeaway for the year, just keep trying. Just keep going. Keep bettering yourself.
No.
Keep bettering yourself.
At least try
that's-
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep trying.
Baby steps.
I mean, Homer Simpson would disagree, but,
Mm.
what can you
But
do?
he does not have a great life, I would say.
I think Homer Simpson has a pretty good life.
I think he likes
Beer,
his life.
donuts,
Yeah.
couple of kids, or a few kids, I
He
guess.
seems sad a lot. Well, not angry. He seems angry a lot. Frustrated.
That's just life, Rad. It's humanity. All right. Well, was there anything else you guys want to talk about before I move to like the last question?
No.
No, we're good. We're kind of comatose from the year anyway.
Yeah.
I want to lie down.
I'm tired.
You have one more day, and then it's sweet, sweet relief.
Just one more day.
Rad, I want to start off with you. What are you excited about in 2017?
I'm excited about getting to host more. That's really exciting. And I am excited to see how the show grows, but scared also. Yeah.
No, fair is good sometimes.
Yeah.
Sammy, we're going to drop a bombshell.
Yep.
Because you're not with us next year.
I am not.
Which is
I am out.
like supremely sad because you've basically been with us for like 5 years now, right?
Yep. Sorry, I just burped.
No, he just went off to cry a little bit, guys. Like 5 years, you know, including all your work experience and internship, and I think 3 years full time.
Yep.
Now as
Third
production
year
coordinator.
full-time. Yep.
I mean, what more to say than it's been amazing having you here.
It's been amazing being here.
Would you like to say something to the audience or our audience and what you feel about the team?
Thanks for watching. We make the show for you and you alone. I guess we make it for ourselves as well. We make the show all together. It's been great working with everyone that's been working here over the past 5 years. I'm going to miss everyone here. Yeah, it's been great.
So what are you looking forward to in 2017?
I'm scared and excited because I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited for new things.
Yeah, awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, you're, you know, insanely young, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
that's true. Yeah. I'm excited for the memes next year.
2016 has been great for memes, and I think it's only.
What are your favourite memes of the year?
Memes are just going to keep evolving.
But
You should invest
I'm
in
not
them.
sure if I have favorite memes because part of the beauty of memes is that they're kind of disposable. You laugh a lot for a bit, and then they leave you.
You live in the meme moments,
Yeah.
and then that passes.
But any certain like favourites from the year where you're like, you know what, I can still look at that and laugh my head off.
Almost any involving dogs make me laugh a lot.
Yeah, dog ones are good. I like SpongeBob ones that relate to like real life things.
I think that escargot one is like one of my favorites. There's just a picture of someone, must be a Halloween costume or something, in a like surprisingly realistic slug costume, and they're walking away, and they've even got like the little trail, and it's just captioned, "I'll escargot then."
It's in the meme book.
It's in the meme
It's
book.
in there forever.
I think that's also why I remember it, because
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, that's a good one.
meme book.
Wow. Sam Rad Sam.
Lynn.
Dank memes for 2016.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's been absolutely amazing working with you two.
It's been a year.
You know, it's been a year. It's been great.
Hasn't it just?
Yeah. And soon we'll be on summer break where we don't have to see each other for at least 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
In 2017,
Yeah.
if I seem a lot angrier, it's because Sam's not here.
Oh, well,
come
you just
visit.
have to Skype in, Sam.
Yeah, I'll come visit. Have
Or you could be
You
like
gonna come
Barjo.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't say it if you don't mean
No,
it.
I will.
You could be like Barjo and just make a paper cutout, a cardboard cutout
Yep.
of you, and just put it next to Rad's desk, and then Sam Rad will be forever.
Yeah.
Forever
Forever.
at the ABC.
Oh, dear.
Okay,
Thanks very much, guys.
cool. Thank you. Bye.
And next we have Nichboy and John, ladies and gentlemen. How was the bromance in the Pocket studio this year?
It's shit.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it all. Is there a novel? Graphic novel.
There's not enough time to write a novel because there's too much sex. You can't write and bang. Are we recording?
Oh, we're recording.
Good.
Yeah, and fornicated.
I wouldn't say it's consensual. I basically just sit in the chair and Pete and Nick just hump my shoulders every now and then. And
Yeah.
it's true.
But it's mutual love, John.
And I don't want to go into this whole I'm opening up a real can of worms here.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want it, you wouldn't come and sit in that chair every day. It's my job to sit in that chair. I get paid.
Oh, that's a whole can of worms I don't want to open up because we'll definitely get in trouble on that end. But hey, what are you guys? What are you? What are you for Pocket?
Yep.
What a
So that's
fantastic
what
year.
I've put up with for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tell me, okay, so we haven't done a roundtable since you guys have been in Melbourne for PAX.
Yep.
Give me a thorough rundown of what happened in Melbourne as Team Pocket descended on PAX.
What are you laughing at? Because
I'm laughing at the quotes.
oh right,
Yeah, they were funny.
oh okay. So
The quotes were
so
funny.
the big thing was that I wasn't sure, and Pete wasn't sure what living with John for a week would be
Yes.
like what that entails. And it turns out.
Yeah, I slept on a futon for a week
Yep.
down there. It was good times.
It turns out it was actually a really fun week. It was kind of like we were in uni living with friends. It
I know
turned out
you
to be-
guys were slightly frustrated with John's eating habits, or I guess taste in food.
Yeah, I mean, he's a difficult
Oh.
man to feed.
These guys wanted to go have breakfast and eat a big fluffy pancake covered in flowers. Like, come on. Like, breakfast is a bacon and egg roll. That is all it should be.
John,
meat pie, right?
John wanted.
We drove for 40 minutes to get a fluffy pancake with flowers on
It was a 7-minute
It was
drive away
such
from the house.
such a bad breakfast and sign that we shouldn't have done it that Pete got a parking ticket while we were there.
It was wonderful. John wanted pizza, and we were like, "Oh, we could go here." And he goes, "Yeah, good. This'll have pizza." And then he looked at the menu and he said, "Oh no, it's this wood-fired shit." That's what we were dealing with. Someone who doesn't like wood-fired pizza. Anyway, a great part of. Can I swear on this?
Oh yeah,
You'll just beep it. You'll beep out. You'll.
I don't beep anything. I
Okay.
tick the explicit box.
Because I'm going to say the
on
F word a
iTunes.
few times.
Yeah, go for it.
So what the big surprise was that over the course of the week, John says things. John says things where he's trying to be funny. But then he also says a lot of things where he genuinely means them, and they just come out at really weird times. So I started writing them down. So a little sample. These are John quotes. I wouldn't fuck him. He's only got one arm. Now Don Cheadle can fuck. The only quote fancy pizza. Wait. The only quote fancy pizza I hate are those wood fire ones. I find them to be shit.
No, the pause was, I find them to be...
Oh, that's right.
the pause.
I find them to be ... shit. Her neck was a foot long. Looking at the members list on the Pucktears Facebook group, my God, there are a lot of Jordans. So this is him. I can't remember how we even said it, but we said the word nonchalant, and he went, ha 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 ha, I get it. I don't actually. What does nonchalant mean? Orgasm?
What? I didn't say that.
Nick, looking at berries. Yum. John, nah, I hate berries. Who hates berries? Okay, then we got a couple more. Shut the fuck up, I'm having a curly whirly. The KFC double? How did you get that? That's limited shit. We played this game where we were deciding the best of two films. Nick, Aliens or Blades of Glory? John, Blades of Glory. Pete, what? And then the final one, which will not be as funny, but it's the best one. Because you had to be there. On TV, someone either said or showed an image of Charles Darwin's Origin of Species. So John looks at the book, Charles Darwin's Origin of Species, and says, I've never actually read it. And the way he said it was as though everyone on the planet has read it, and it just somehow missed him. And we looked at him and he's like, no one's read it. Darwin didn't even read it. So that was one of the highlights of living with John.
Do you have any rebuttal, John?
No.
And just very quickly, the other amazing part in Melbourne is we had no money for a set.
Yeah.
So we needed to put together a set. We bought some stuff down there, like a bit of furniture and some bean bags and stuff, but we had this big space because originally we were going to bring in a camper van and park it there. But then the budget got cut and we couldn't actually take it. So we went, okay, we're going to need to decorate this space in some way.
Yeah.
And I said, what if we do, like we just chop out, kind of like Gus's office now, it used to be Ben's, just comics and stick them on the wall. And we went, cool, that's a good idea. Buy a bunch of comics, cut them all up. It's one of these felt walls, and we got double-sided tape. So we stuck up all the comics. The whole wall is stuck up. We then leave to go have dinner, and we're coming back to just finish off a few things. We come back 2 hours later. Every single picture has fallen off the wall. They're all on the floor. Because of the double-sided tape, they're all stuck to one another and like just giant balls of comic paper. It was the saddest thing ever because we were so worried about that set and walking in and just seeing it look disgusting and people were going, we've just watched it fall apart over the last 2 hours.
And you're like, you didn't do anything?
You didn't do a single
to
thing.
help it?
Yeah.
No.
It was a disaster.
It was great.
Thankfully, we got it all fixed with Velcro tabs by the next morning.
We had to go inspect other booths to see what they'd done.
Yeah, and then Pete did a like 9 p.m. run to Bunnings to get a bunch of Velcro tabs. But yeah.
He bought like 500 tabs.
Yeah, that sucked. And then the rest of the week was terrible as well.
It felt like it would have been the ultimate bonding trip for all three of you. Not that you haven't bonded enough.
I was going to say that, like, I feel like the pocket room is the ultimate bonding trip.
Yeah,
This was good because we just got to spend some time together where we weren't working all the time.
Well, this is spring break.
Yeah.
For the pocket team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
It was
much.
interesting seeing everybody's habits outside of working hours. Nick just retreats to his bedroom and
Because
disappears.
he's a total introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give a shit. He'll just be like, okay, wake me up when you need me.
Yeah, like my thing was generally we would watch TV and movies together. Like there were nights where we would watch a few movies and sort of hang out.
The Lord of the Rings marathon was pretty epic.
That was great. We watched all 3 extended edition versions one day.
Back-to-back, yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of the time I would just go to my bedroom and like either just watch TV or read or fall asleep or like I'd stay up for 6 hours, but I need alone time to actually get my energy and
So after Nick left, interesting toilet habits of Nick, by the way, about to come out. After Nick left, because he left a night early,
that's right.
I was like, well, Pete's in the shower that Pete and I had been using.
Yeah.
Not together, obviously, but, you know,
Just
been sharing.
together.
And I was like, right, I'm going to go have a shower in Nick's bathroom. So I go in there and there's a bin next to the toilet. There's like an empty packet of barbecue shapes in there. There's an empty packet of something else. I'm like, is he just come in here and like shit and eat biscuits? Like, what does he do? This is so weird.
Shit and eat biscuits at the same time. It's great.
It was part of that whole thing of like I would be eating up and watching a movie, and then I would go.
You had
it
ice
was
cream.
it was a connoisseur ice cream wrapper. Yeah, I would be eating in my bedroom like while I'm watching a movie or something, and then I'd be like, I don't want to go downstairs, so I just use. But I did feel weird about putting that in the bathroom bin because it's a strange thing to put in a bathroom bin. It's not what you usually see as food because it does imply something very horrible. Which is I
Amazing.
wipe myself with barbecue shapes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot I could say about that, but I'm not going to because it's not in good taste.
I sat down with that connoisseur.
Would that be your most memorable moment of 2016? It's wiping a butthole with barbecue shapes.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that, you know, that conversation encompassed both the most memorable and worst moments of 2016. But if you guys would like to add anything else.
No. Honestly, I cannot remember hardly anything from before last week.
Yeah. It's seriously a bit of a blur. When you just do the same thing every single day,
Everything rolls into one.
they all roll into one. There's been heaps of great stuff. There hasn't been too much terrible stuff, I don't think, on the scale.
Compared to last year? I mean, what's it been like compared to last year?
I think this year's been a much smoother ship.
Yeah, I think the worst things that happen are when Civilization 6 was a disaster.
Oh, that was the fucking worst.
That was a
That was
disaster.
the worst.
That's probably the lowest point of the year.
Yeah. So last
pretty
year
bad.
we had a thing where we made a gameplay episode of a game called Cheats for Hire, and then realized that the recording had totally screwed up, so I needed to play through the game again, and that was always like, and that was a terrible game, and so we held that up as being the worst episode of Pocket because in fact I played it through again, but matched my performance. We used my performance
we
from
actually-
the first one and the gameplay from the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Civ, it came out, sat down, recorded a full episode. It was really good. About 3/4 of the way through, realized we weren't recording. Was like, oh shit. I Alt-10'd, which is Alt F9 is record. Alt F10 is capture the last 5 minutes in Shadowplay. So I Alt F10'd to go like, oh, maybe we get some, and it didn't take us nearly far enough back. So I went, oh, screw it. Like we missed a huge
15
chunk.
minutes
Yeah.
of it or something.
Yeah. So we went, damn it, I have to play it again. So then restart the game, play it through a second time, give a full performance the second time.
It was a shittier performance too.
It was a
He-
shittier
he-
performance.
He was just cranky.
And got to the end of it 40 minutes later, went, okay, we're done. John looks at the clip.
It's literally his face.
The shadow play has been recording the wrong screen the whole time. So it's been recording the pocket background
the
of my
picture
face,
and- yeah.
rather
With
than
all
the
the
game.
sound.
The reason it did that is because with stupid shadow play had this bug where when you Alt F10, it like just completely freaks the program out. So it doesn't know what it's supposed to be recording anymore. And so it started recording the desktop. So then we had to play through it a third time. And so all of this, like, this sounds like complaining about, oh, you had to play Civilization for the third time. But when you have to play it explaining the whole thing, explaining everything you're doing, it's the third hour you're doing this, and like John is running out of time because he's supposed to be. Oh, it was just terrible.
But the third performance was the best because
Yeah.
he'd sort of lost the plot by then, so it was a bit manic.
Well, because
And a
you
bit-
stop
and a bit-
caring. Because that's the thing with performance, right? Because you can't
Yeah,
be self-aware or have inhibitions.
that's why I hate playing games that people are like, Nick, you should totally play this. It'll be really funny, like as an episode. And I go, that's terrible because.
because now I'm aware that you want me to
The
be
best
funny.
stuff comes when it's just it's
Yeah.
good. The best stuff comes when John doesn't realize for half a week I've been writing down things that he says.
Yeah. That's when the real
the
good stuff
best.
happens.
Now, I've been asking this question to everyone. What has been the most heartbreaking celebrity death of 2016 for you guys? If there is one.
It would be oh my god.
I don't even know who's died this year.
It would be a throwdown, which couldn't happen because they're dead.
Yep.
Between
Well, maybe in the afterlife.
Alan Rickman,
Yep.
Bowie, and Prince.
Oh, man. who
And
would win?
I got into Prince after he died.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I knew some Prince,
Yeah.
like I knew some famous Prince, but I hadn't listened too much of it because my dad never really listened to Prince a huge amount, and my dad is basically like the person who listened to all the music in my family. And then I really got into Prince, and then was very, very sad that he died after he died. Like
Keep on talking.
Prince, Bowie, Rickman.
I need to look at the-
John's just checking who actually passed away this year.
I think it's probably Prince.
Yeah.
Because Alan Rickman is great, but I think he's put in his best work.
Yeah.
Bowie has already done his best work. He'd put out an album, but it was like,
Yeah.
this was the last album.
Yeah.
Bowie was pretty old. Prince was still relatively young and was still putting out content and was still putting out good content. Like, his last album that he put out was really solid. Baltimore is an amazing song. And so you go, I feel like he had more in him.
He had more in him.
Yeah. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I already said it was pretty much Alan Rickman, I think.
Yeah.
And in the last week, A.A. Gill, because he was one of my favorite
Yep.
travel/food critics.
And we lost Alan Thicke yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's his name? Gene Wilder died as well.
Gene Wilder
Yeah.
died.
This list isn't a list. Oh my gosh.
Leonard Cohen died.
Leonard Cohen, yeah. It's huge.
Anyone? John doesn't care about
Best
popular
game.
culture.
What? What?
It's Kenny Baker.
Oh.
Nick doesn't know who Kenny Baker is. It's fine.
Yeah. Kenny Baker is one of those Star Wars kids.
Peter Vaughan died. Andrew Sachs. Ron Glass. Oh, I could go on. Florence Henderson.
Ron
Florence
Glass.
Henderson,
Ron
yeah.
Glass.
Robert Vaughn.
Ron Glass was great in
Leonard
Firefly.
Cohen.
We just said Leonard Cohen.
Peter Burns died.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh God, so many people.
Yeah, not the Peter Burns.
No, Pete
The-
Burns.
the
Sorry,
Pete
Pete Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Favorite
go with
game?
Pete Burns. Okay.
Okay.
Favorite game?
Favorite game
Yeah.
of the year.
Quickly, because you already dealt with this on Pocket, so.
Say it, John. Say it. Say it. It's Battlefield or Overwatch. Just say it.
No, I don't know. It's too hard. Now
6-6.
Dota's been changed. It's like a new game.
Nick.
My favorite game was Uncharted 4.
Okay, good. John.
Yeah, whatever.
Uncharted 4. Just say it.
I never have played it. I don't even have a PlayStation.
John's favorite game was Battlefield or Overwatch. They're the two games
Yep.
he talks about the most and plays the most.
John, what was your favorite movie/TV series of the year?
I don't watch movies.
Yeah, you
TV series. Suits. I don't know. Suits is like the only one I've watched.
Suits. I love it,
Oh,
John.
Game of Thrones. I don't know. Suits. Let's go with Suits because we
All right,
finally finished it.
John chooses Suits.
Yeah,
Nick Boy.
gotta love Harvey.
I really loved Westworld. I adored Arrival. I have one episode left to go. I love The Crown. I love it. I love the acting in that show is just beyond. Jared Harris does. Okay, I know you said be quick.
Yeah.
2 things. One, when he sings at his birthday,
Yep.
when he knows he's dying, it could be the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's incredible. And then
Instant tears. That was instant tears for me.
Yeah, it
like
was
crying,
it was
sobbing.
spectacular.
Yeah.
And then the scene with between Churchill and the artist name, was it Sutherland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Graham. Sutherland?
Yeah, and they're talking about the children that they've lost.
Yep.
And just as he's painting, Sutherland has this moment where he's talking about his son, and then there's just this like he does this double move with the brush and his eyes, and he goes to say something and he stops, and it was, I just fell apart. That show is incredible. What am I missing? Like else from the year?
I feel like has anything ended this year? Like
It's
Mad
hard
Men
for-
and stuff was last year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Suits ended this year.
There you go.
And it's about
Suits-
bloody
Suits-
time.
Mike got his job back. He got out of prison, but he's not a lawyer. He's a
I'm
consultant.
going to nod politely because I've never watched a single episode of Suits.
I've
Oh,
seen
Suits is
6
the greatest.
episodes of Suits.
You're a little bit behind on Transparent, but that season
Oh yeah,
3 was
Transparent.
great.
Stranger Things was good, but
Yeah.
like it was just good. I don't think it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Jane the Virgin's pretty interesting.
Jane the Virgin's actually pretty good.
I still haven't seen Stranger Things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I feel like I don't want to watch it because Gus has told me to watch it so many times.
Yeah.
And that I just refuse now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Night of I really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Better Call Saul had a good season.
Ooh, yeah.
American Crime Story was surprisingly fun.
Was that the OJ?
That was the OJ
Oh, I
one.
still have to watch
which
that.
was great.
Yeah.
If you're not watching The Good Place, you should be watching The Good Place.
Okay.
Catastrophe was excellent.
Rocket League season was really good.
I'm sure House of Cards was good this year. I remember what I forget like what happened,
it was
but
okay.
you know, it was alright.
okay. And then
The International and the Majors were good this year too.
in terms of films, best films. I'm just Googling now. This is just an episode of Googling. This is what happens when you catch me after a live stream. I don't want to talk. Arrival, like I said.
Yeah, so we've been going for like 19 minutes now, I think.
Doesn't wanna
I think the
talk.
majority was
10 Cloverfield Lane was excellent.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to talk.
Okay, great. Keep
Oh,
Googling.
and I saw Nocturnal Animals a couple of days ago, and it really messed me up.
I'm a huge Tom Ford fan. Like,
So am I.
Huge.
I mean, I'm not because I hate him because like he's a fashion designer who should just stay doing the thing that he's good at. He shouldn't then turn to something, pick it up, and instantly make 2 fantastic films. Like
no, but
straight
that's
away.
why he's so good because he's a fucking genius.
It's
but
it's just disgusting how good
in my
those
opinion,
two
though,
movies
like
are.
having done a lot of creative stuff, like studied a lot of music, film, writing, whatever. All creative pursuits are the same.
Yeah, I mean,
like
you
from fashion design to film directing,
Yeah,
it's
totally,
actually
yeah.
all the same.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. Like being creative is something that you can generally like. What's the John Lennon quote? Like, I'm a musician. Give me a give me a tuba, and I'll manage to get a tune out of it or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that Nocturnal Animals is good. John, you'll hate it. Don't watch it.
No, you'd absolutely hate it, John.
I'm actually considering selling my television.
Really?
I don't use it.
But
But big
your wife
screen.
watches,
Oh, she watches everything.
but you don't care about her.
No.
Yeah, the TV can go, honey. Now, I know you guys don't remember anything from the
Yep.
year, but
Yep.
what is your takeaway from 2016? If there is anything. A lesson in life. Something you've learned. Or appreciated.
The definition of insanity, as per Far Cry 3,
Which
That's
is
your takeaway? Which is?
is doing the same thing over and over and expecting things to change.
John's very, very angry that he's
Right.
had to edit so much this year.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure
That's your
everyone's
job,
talked about
John. You
just
get paid. to
No.
do that.
don't, Lynn, don't.
No, I want to hear this.
No, I'm done.
I wanna hear you
I am done.
philosophize.
I am done with daily deadlines.
Oh, okay.
I'm done. Especially 2 daily deadlines. I'm done with 2 daily deadlines.
Okay. John is done, folks.
I'm sure that everyone has talked about just how much of a fucking terrible year 2016's been. Yeah. So 2016 has been a terrible year, but there's been some really beautiful things in it. And I guess it's just a lesson to, like, my takeaway would be everyone just be nicer to everyone else. Everyone just, it's not even about be nicer, because I think be nicer can be trite to go like, oh, I'm being told to be nice, I'm going to be nice,
Be
but not
more
actually believe
humane.
that. Just think about whatever's going on, think about it from the perspective of someone else. Like, just if you do that, the world instantly becomes a better place. If you can just go, okay, imagine myself in the other side of this conversation, how would I feel? That's going to make the world a better place. Because it's fucking terrible right now.
Yeah.
It's so bad that John's thinking about selling his television.
That's the last straw, folks.
It's so bad that Suits is his TV show of the year.
Well, onto somewhat happier things. What are you guys really excited about in 2017?
Reboot of Suits?
No, because one of the
Was it 6 seasons?
Yeah.
Or was it 7?
No, 6.
Oh, get a movie out of it then.
Yeah, but they're not going to do next season because one of the stars is now dating Prince Harry. So because that's happened.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's just got no time for anything else now.
Reality TV show.
I'm done.
I'd watch it.
Reality TV just needs to die.
Have you watched First Dates?
Yeah, but no, like
It's so good.
it's not.
It's my favorite reality show of the year.
It's horrible.
So
People
good.
shouldn't put themselves out there like that. It's just terrible. It's just inviting people to judge, and that's the one big problem with society. People are quick to
It's
judge.
judging.
I'm going to be a total tease.
Yeah.
I have something I'm really looking forward to that I can't talk about.
Yes. Well, we know what it is, but you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
It's Don Cheadle.
with one arm?
I hear
Two
that guy
arms.
can fuck.
No, the one-armed guy is the Def Leppard drummer. No, it was Bucky Barnes. It was Bucky Barnes.
It was Bucky Barnes. It was Bucky Barnes.
It was Bucky Barnes.
That's right.
I
We
would
were
not.
That's right. And the context for it was Pete and I were rating which of the male Marvel superhero characters would we most want to have sex with.
Yeah.
And then John was like, I wouldn't fuck that guy who only has one arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how that
No,
came
Sebastian Stan's like the hottest guy. Out of all.
Really?
Yeah, he is. No one else, man.
Old Bucky Barnes.
about.
No, but the actor, not the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, whatever.
The arm just makes it hotter.
No, like Chris Evans is too bland.
Yeah. he's
Danny
good
Jr.
looking
is a bit
dude,
too
though.
old. You know.
Thor.
Sebastian Stan. That's where it's
Thor.
at. Right, Peter?
Hiddleston.
Sebastian Stan. Hiddleston, no, too skinny.
Bucky
Skinny
Barnes. It came off the back of us ranking the male superheroes in terms of sexability.
Yeah.
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 There you go. It's all good.
Good.
I think 2017 is going to be a really interesting year for everyone, in particular you, Nick. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be awesome for you too, John. So good. All right. Well, you know what? It's been a pleasure working with you guys, even though I haven't really worked with you that much this year. But Nick, we've had GDC.
We did have
Always.
GDC, and that was a total highlight of the
Always.
year. That was really good.
John, we will always
you know
have...
what I'm like to live with. I was totally the same there as well. And Lynn understood it. She was all like,
That's because we're both INFJs.
yeah, she was
We
like,
get
just
it.
go sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I went, good, thank you so much, Lynn.
Yeah.
As opposed to you, guilting me every single time. Oh, you're going to go to bed? Fuck you, it's 11 o'clock at night. I got to perform for 12 hours tomorrow.
You've got to go sit in the toilet and eat barbecue shapes.
I need to wipe.
And John, we will always have our
5
years of Spawn Point.
Yeah.
You know, we will always be best buddies.
Are you packing a fishing rod in your backpack?
And
be.
Peter's off to New Zealand tomorrow. Bye, Peter.
Pete's,
We love you.
Pete's going to a music festival. It's going to be awesome.
All right. Thanks very much,
Joke's never
guys.
going to get old, is it? All right,
very
thank you,
much.
Lynn.
What a
Thank
year.
you for doing the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your
Thank
hard work
you,
on Spawn
Lynn.
Point and on GDC and
Yeah.
on Good Game.
And on everything
from
else.
the beginning of the year.
Woo!
And thank you for taking a nice picture of me.
Always,
Yeah.
Nick. Always lovely making you look beautiful.
Groovy.
Yeah. And Janet's just standing there waiting for her turn.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, it is your turn, Janet. Last,
What are the
lucky
odds?
last. What are the odds?
Shut up. Is there anything left to say?
He doesn't like to talk after live streams.
I know, right? After like 2 hours of talking,
I
Nick
need to
hates
entertain the
talking.
people. You tell me to come and talk. I got to talk.
Love you.
All right.
All right,
Goodbye.
thanks very much, guys.
I'm going to turn a knob.
Bye. Don't.
Don't turn the knob.
Did it work?
Janet Carr, you get the last word on this podcast for the year.
Hello, Lynn.
How's it going?
It's been an emotional couple of weeks, I have to say.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
to drop the bombshell, if people haven't heard already, but you're actually moving on from Good Game at
I
the end
am.
of the year, moving on to better and newer projects, still staying on with the ABC.
I wouldn't say better, just different. I felt that 10 years was a pretty good innings, and that the show is just going to fly. And but it is also, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and I like to describe it as you have a room that is full of your creativity. And,
Yeah.
and Good Game was a huge, big, lump in the middle of it. And it was amazing. And I love everything to do with the show and the team. But I'm interested to see what's up in the corners.
Yes. But, it played a huge chunk in your life. This is, we say it's a 10th anniversary, but technically it's your 11th year
Yes.
on the show. Looking back throughout 2016, and maybe other years, like there are so many great moments, but in particular this year, like would you say the 10th anniversary show was
Hands down.
your top highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down my highlight. And for all sorts of reasons. Like I loved that show and I loved the look back and everything, but I was so proud of us as a group of people who don't normally make television like that. I mean, I've been making television for 30 years and I have worked on some big studio productions, multi-cameras, studio audience. I've never worked on one that was that smooth, that professional, that everyone knew what they were doing. It all came together. I mean, Lynn, I think we did 4 pickups through that.
Oh, it's so smooth.
That's
ridiculously
unheard of.
smooth, yeah.
I honestly thought going into it that we would still be there at 11 o'clock at night, pick up. And we didn't. It was like, I think all our experience of doing the live shows probably helped.
Yeah.
But the amount of praise that I got from my colleagues throughout the organisation going, what an amazing team you have. This team that because we live in our little sort of Good Game bubble, don't we?
I've been saying to everyone that we're a bit cultish in a way.
Yeah, we are a little. I like to call it a family.
A good cult. Yes.
We're a pretty tight knit family, and as much as we love to welcome new people, we do kind of feed off ourselves, and we're pretty self sufficient. So for us to have gone and done that, and nailed it. On every level. I was so happy and so proud. And yeah, I think that was definitely a highlight, not just of this year, but of all of the years.
I mean, you've always been, over the years, a champion of the skills of this team. And do you often think that the rest of the ABC might not get a chance to see what we're capable of because we are very much, we work as a team when we work on our shows, and producing the 10th anniversary special actually allowed the rest of the ABC to see what we are capable of as a team, and how we work together, and also our individual skill sets as well.
I think 100%. I think that the perception from the ABC potentially is that, look, we're a top team. We've never missed a deadline. We deliver more television than just about any other program unit, and we do it in a way that is like super efficient and super good. But it's not the kind of content that a lot of the ABC would watch regularly. They know about the show, but they kind of know that we're appealing to this audience that maybe aren't even regular viewers of the ABC, and that we do it in our own way. And we have got a lot of, kudos from that amongst our colleagues, but they don't necessarily watch. Yeah. And so I think that was a great thing. And the other show that really kind of did that was the mental health special that we did. And I remember when the ABC rang me and said, we're doing this tentpole, mental health week and mental as, and have you got, and I was like, yeah, we'll do a show. Yeah, no problem. And that's the last they heard of it until they saw it. Yeah. And then we had one of, the most successful shows in that whole initiative. And people were like, wow, this team has made this really beautifully constructed, very high production values, beautifully researched program. And this is the team that, normally talk about video games. Yeah. So, yeah.
So talking about the best moment of 2016, do you have a worst moment of 2016? Like, I generally bring up like global events when I talk about worst moments.
Oh, well, Brexit.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man, watching, because that, as that vote came in, I was actually, at work. And so I was watching it, and I was so convinced that would be, 80% rejected. And then it just got more and more sort of horrifying. And, my heritage is British, and I just found that extremely upsetting that this country, I was like, who, I don't understand these. Who are these people that voted for that? Because they're not at all in my sphere of reference. Then again, of course, with Trump, it feels like a terrible year. And then, we have lost some. You know, for me, my other great love as well of video games, of course, is music. And I lost my two. I was actually on my honeymoon in Mexico when the news came through that David Bowie had died. And that was awful. And then, my other great love, of course, was Prince. Yeah. And I splashed out an enormous amount of money to see him in February, thinking, do we really, we shouldn't be spending this money, but I'm so glad that we did it now because that was really...
And it was a good concert?
The Prince concert was amazing. I mean, I think that might have been maybe the 6th time I've seen him. Yeah. And everything else, every other time has been a huge, big production, amazing band. And you're always blown away by the musicianship of the band. And he could dance and his dancers. And it was, always these big, big productions. So just him and a piano. But goodness me, that man could play, and his songs and the way he didn't have a set list. He just kind of went with the flow of the move, whatever he wanted to play next just kind of came out of him. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Worth every cent. A lot of cents.
Now, because we're talking on the topic of music, I want to just actually skip to, some of my last questions is moving on from Good Game, you are actually working on a few music shows in the future. I've been very lucky to have been also, I mean, the way the ABC works when you're an executive producer is that you don't normally look after just one show. So as well as all of the Good Game world, I've looked after Rage, which is a wonderful program and relatively self-sufficient. But Rage is turning 30 next year. So we are going to be producing some beautiful content to celebrate the influence and the love that Australia has with that particular program as it turns 30. And then luckily for me, also doing an archive program which surrounds Countdown, which is, one of those iconic programs. 3.5 million people used to sit down and watch Countdown every week, Lynn. It was a huge program. Where did this love of music stem from for you?
I have always loved music, but my relationship with music changed when I started to dabble a little bit in it myself.
Yeah, in your band.
In my band. And it's an extremely amateur experience. But I love the sort of the transformative process that making music with other people does. And I don't actually think it matters how good or bad you are at it. It's that process. And the fact that, through that process, I met some beautiful, beautiful people who are only in music for fun like I am. But when we work together on a song, and they're only ever covers, we're not good enough to write our own music. But as we work in that process, I mean, it is a little bit like television. It's the same process that we go through here as a team, that we're crafting something up and then we're getting it to hopefully the best way that we possibly can perform that song. And then, sometimes we get to do that in public. And there's something about that process that I really find very invigorating, and I love it. So now I'm kind of...
It's almost a pure creative process, isn't it, with music?
It is, but for me, I really like working as part of a team. I think my great joy with Good Game, and I have been, and I thank everybody for it, but I've been, people have been very kind with the lovely words that they have said about me and Good Game over this last month or so. But it is a team effort. You surround yourself with brilliant people. And, I think one of my strengths is that I like to enable people to be able to do their best work and encourage them. And some people take dog legs as well. Like, you might come into the team thinking that you're actually good at this, but you know what? It's this that you're really good at. And, I can think of a few examples very close to us now where people have just risen to the challenge and you perceive that in them and they just need a little bit of encouragement and then they fly. Yeah. And that brings me such joy. And I find that in music as well. Like, I sing in this band. I'm not a singer, but that ability to, be able to interpret a song in your own way, to connect it to some kind of meaning, to, get the instruments working well. I love everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So along with music, what has been your favorite game of the year?
My favourite game of the year? Well, that is a good question because I did really enjoy Firewatch and I love playing that, but I really thought the ending was not great. So there's a sort of big, I love Firewatch, but I did really enjoy my time in Uncharted 4. Loved it. But the game that I've really loved and played a hell of a lot of this year is I actually found it on the computer, so I've been playing it for 2 years now, but it's now out on mobile phones. It's called Mini Metro.
Yeah, right.
And it's just a little, you just have to manage stations and strains between it. And it's actually developed in New Zealand to my great pleasure. So I bumped into those guys at PAX. I was like, oh my God, I love your game. And then I think I'm more a builder than a destroyer. So I still love City Skylines, and I've loved all of the expansions that have come out for that. And so I actually started a new city last night, and I can't wait to get back and.
Well, it's always nice to be able to go back to those games that you really enjoy and just find new things or.
Yeah, and the way that my house is that I haven't until really recently. My family actually bought me for my last birthday a gaming laptop, so I have not had a gaming PC within easy reach for the last year. So I've been sort of restricted to console games. So I'm really excited to go and play a lot of games that I'm actually missed out on. So I'm heading for a couple of days off, and I downloaded, Gone Home. I haven't played that.
Yeah. Right.
So there's some games that I know people talk about here a lot that I'm like, I can't wait to play.
Isn't it funny? Like I've talking to people at the end of the year, and everyone's like, oh, I can't wait to play this game over the holidays. And it's so funny, like we work on a video game show for 46 weeks out of the year. And, unless you're reviewing something, you don't get a chance to play many games throughout the year.
You don't. I touch on them, and then it's not enough to say whether you love it or not. So that's why I kind of tend to go back to City Skylines, because I've done the hard work. I know how the game works, and then I can just cut to the chase and have the fun. I'm keen to play Last Guardian. Yeah. Last Guardian... See, it's all lovely how your life brings you into circles, but Shadow of the Colossus was one of the games that informed how I wanted to make good game way back in 2006. And the discussions that I was actually having with a colleague of mine, a guy called Sam Doust, who's a genius, but the way he was talking about Shadow and I was talking about Shadow, and it was like, this show, with this show here, and there's a show that should be here on the ABC, we should be able to talk about games in this way on the ABC. And so that really informed it. And here we are, at the other end of my good game experience, finally, with The Last Guardian. And I have played my first hour, and I'm not very fast at playing games, so it always take me quite a bit longer than most people. But I did quite enjoy that, so I'm looking forward to getting into that.
So we just all need about 6 months off so we can get through our back catalogue of games, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it would be great for the Good Game team, wouldn't it, if it was 3 weeks on, 1 week off to play?
Yeah. Play all your games and then you come back and you make your TV show. I mean, speaking about TV shows, have you had certain series or movies that you really enjoyed throughout this year?
Yeah, well, we actually watched quite a lot of television. And there's been a few notable ones. I love The Night Of. Yeah. I thought particularly how that resolved. No spoilers, but I thought it was a masterpiece, really. I really love clever dramas. So I really enjoyed the second series of The Missing. Of course, Stranger Things, which I'm sure most people mentioned. I also have a bit of a guilty reality TV habit.
Oh, what was your guilty reality TV
British
habit?
Bake Off.
Ah, yes. I don't even see that as reality. I feel like...
Because the BBC do it so well.
Yeah, I feel like that, for me, that's almost beyond reality in a way. Not that it's fictional, but it doesn't come with any of the negativity that most reality shows have.
I agree. They obviously, I think as a point of difference, way back when they tried to craft that show, and it's about baking, and it's a kind of got that British nostalgia for the good old times when things could be solved with a cup of tea and a cream scone. And so, and they've really captured that so well, and I was very, very, very... very keen on it. Yeah. And, for a while there, my family were inundated with baked goodies, inspired. So I really love that. I do love costume drama, so I really enjoyed The Crown. Yeah. And I also enjoyed Victoria. And it's a little bit of a toss-up for me on if I had to pick one over the other. Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to because I enjoyed both those series. Australia-wise, you know, I really loved Rosehaven. I thought, I mean, Luke is a friend of the show, right? He's part of our Good Game family. So I was really so excited for him because he told me about that series way back when he first came and worked with us on Good Game. And, you know, television takes a long time, and he'd been thinking about that show with Celia for a long time. So that for him to have brought that to fruition and for it to have been so successful, I really loved it. Movie-wise...
I mean, I said earlier to the guys, I don't think it's been a great year for movies or memorable movies. Like, there've been some enjoyable titles, but not one that I've been like, you know what, that's an amazing film.
I would agree with you. I think as far as sitting in a movie and really enjoying it, maybe when you weren't expecting it, would probably be Bridget Jones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was an enjoyable romp.
It was.
I really loved that.
Wasn't it? And I think if you're going to reboot a film, especially when, you know, the second one, was it the second one, or did they make 3 in the first round?
No, they made 2. So it was Bridget Jones and then Edge of Reason was the
That's
second
right.
one,
And the second one was a bit meh, you know, and for them to go again and you think, well, this could be such a misfire. But it had such heart and warmth and was so beautifully written.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, you know, Emma Thompson stole that film.
And it was so, it was perfect for what it wanted to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was funny, as you said, it was warm. It was like suddenly you're back with old friends again.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out of a reboot. Or not reboot, sorry, but like a sequel.
Yeah, and when you're going to go and, you know, pay money to sit in a room.
Exactly.
And frankly, you know, your television experience has been so good this year. It's going to take a lot to get me off the couch.
Yeah.
And I was really, really pleased with that. I did think that was really lovely.
No, that is a good film. Yeah, I totally forgot that I saw that this year. I was like, yeah, Bridget Jones.
I know, which was probably not going to be, you know, like, don't ever hire me as a film critic because it's not going to be many people's
It's hard because I think everyone has said, you know, in this podcast in particular, that it's been such a long year. And we've done so much this year. I felt like we've done even more this year than any other year. And that it's hard to remember anything beyond last month.
I agree. And, you know, we didn't start the year with that, did we? I actually thought we were going to have quite a long period of plain sailing, you know, in calm waters doing the show and having a good time doing the show. And then we would have the big wow of the 10th birthday. But I agree. It's been whoa after whoa after
It's literally been like, you know, someone dropping hot coal in your lap like every 2 months or so, and you're just trying to juggle
and
things.
Why? Like why?
Yeah, it's weird. It's been a year. It's been a process. What has been your takeaway from 2016?
How brilliant the GG team is. I know it's going to feel, Janet says that again, but it is. I do really believe it. I think there is nothing that this team can't do. Like, you know, you just got to throw anything at them and they can do it. And so I think, you know, part of my leaving the show is going to be the ability to spruik a lot more about the team, and, you know, hopefully opportunities will come for people as well to expand their own skill set and, you know, work on new things as well. Other things, gosh, what would it be? I think as the world potentially turns to shit, that games, you know, what a creative force they are, because games have really been very good this year. I have said always that I think some of the most creative and genius people working on the planet today work in video games. And it's that sort of ability to the storytelling, meeting the technology, meeting the creative experiences, and, you know, the steps forward that they have made this year have been extraordinary, and we're still really at the beginning of that journey. And so it's so I'm so excited for what games are going to deliver to people, and therefore what's going to the future of the program, because it's just going to get better. You know, the VR thing, I don't know. What's your take on the VR? Have you been a bit like...
You know what's really interesting is I caught up with someone last week, and totally not a gamer, author actually.
Right.
And she was like, so what do you think about the whole VR sphere? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you want to know? And she was like, oh, like, I know a few filmmakers and artists who are like really interested in the space. And for me, it's really interesting because I think like games are far beyond the go-to people. You know, like gamers and also game designers are so far ahead of everyone else on the VR curve.
Yeah, right, on VR, yeah.
On VR. Yeah. And it's almost like the rest of society haven't cottoned onto that unless they're a gamer.
I agree with you.
You know,
100%,
and you've said you've been to conferences about VR where games weren't even mentioned, and you're like, what are you guys talking about?
Exactly. I've watched TV or, you know, film things, and you're like, well,
exactly. And you're like, have you seen Batman in VR? Like, have you seen what is capable in VR? And I feel like there's this like incongruence with the media industries right now where people aren't necessarily talking to each other. And in particular, I think artists and filmmakers think VR is this really new thing, but then they're approaching it in almost the wrong way.
Do you think you need to be a gamer or to have had that kind of experience of gaming to understand kind of the language of VR a little bit better? That as someone coming to the experience,
I think you do, and in a way, I think you know a lot of people still poo-poo gaming in a way, you know, and there's a stigma attached. We all know that, which is such a detriment because, in my opinion, to further, you know, the meshing of creativity and new technologies, right, you need an understanding of different mediums and formats. And the fact that filmmakers in particular, I mean, you know, I consider myself one, you know, I went to school with people and there's still this idea of like, no, I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to make a film. I'm going to make a film in VR. And it's like, but why? Like, if you're just making a film that's 360 in VR, then what's the point?
Yeah. And it's not going to, who's it going to appeal to?
Like, who cares?
Because, you know,
right?
the gamers out there are going to be like, yeah, like I can turn my head, and what else am I going to be able to do now?
But but VR is basically saying, hey, this is the next level in terms of interacting with your environment, right? Because games are already, you are basically interacting within that game environment. That's the most important thing. And VR is just basically taking a step further and saying, hey, we're going to try and take over all your senses now, or at least half of your senses, and incorporate that with the interactivity. And if you're not thinking like through gaming, then you're doing it wrong.
But this is why the future is so exciting, I think, because what you're going to get is you're going to get people like you, Lin, who have got a foot in that gaming space, who understand that, but also are passionate about the filmmaking craft. And that's what it's going to take. It can't really come from people who have not come from, or at least don't have a deep love for an appreciation for game. You don't have to have necessarily made a game, but you have to understand once you have interacted with a creative experience, why other forms of experiences are left a little bit lacking.
And, you know, I think the really smart filmmakers will do that. They will do their research. You know, you see it through something like Westworld, where the creatives like Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, they've gone and played BioShock and Red Dead Redemption. They've done their research and they've tried to incorporate that into
or Stranger Things even, really, which was a great nod to the sort of 80s filmmaking.
Exactly.
But it had a very game kind of
like
structure
aesthetic,
to it.
And I think that will happen. The smart filmmakers will get there. But I think in Australia, because so much of our creative industries rely on government funding, I think there's a real...
I think there's a separation.
There's such a separation between who funds, what is funded, who determines the funding, and what we should actually be making, and not to be on a high horse and say, you know, we should only be making this. Like, you know, I'm of an opinion that we should be making a lot of different things.
We should totally
with a lot of different voices.
You know, you can broaden it. We should be making, well, then probably not even screen-based entertainment now when you start talking about VR, but it's, you know, I agree. I mean, I think the Victorians are trying their very best. Like, that seems to be a great model for where, you know, the games development scene in Melbourne. I mean, what a great joy that has been. I mean, you know, having when we started Good Game, it was all Brisbane, and up we would go. And then there was that terrible slump where really there wasn't much to say really in the local scene. And now for us to be able to do story after story after story about the great Australian game development scene. So I think the future's bright. I do have my.
I think it absolutely is. I think it's a matter of making people understand, and I think at the moment, we always bemoan basically the people in charge. There are always certain people in charge, and they're not necessarily the most diverse representation of the people who are making the content. And I think in terms of government bodies or even industry bodies, there's always walls put up in between. And it's like, oh, you're a game, you have to go here.
Yeah.
You're a movie, you have to go here.
And people tend to, it's not their fault. It's just you come out of what you know, isn't it? And it's also quite a small industry. Yeah. So it's kind of like there's the connections. And, there's not a lot of money and things have to work. So I can understand why you go with the kind of the safer bet, the people the people that can deliver. And then the sort of, there's always a little bit of money for the experimental projects, but often because they're kind of so experimental, they don't kind of hit a mass market.
Yes.
And so they seem to sort of hit the experimental thing, but they weren't a success in inverted commas.
I read an article the other day and it referenced a book called, I think the title was Convergence Media. And I remember reading it in uni and I based quite a few of my essays used that as a reference material, and that was written in 2006. And so we're talking about convergence media for about a decade now, probably even more than a decade. Yeah. The idea that really, in essence, everything's the same. Everything's storytelling, up to a certain point, right? Yeah. So it doesn't really matter if you're a TV, your film, your game, you're basically telling podcast, radio, you're basically telling stories. Yeah. And if you're creative, you're pretty much doing the same thing in all different formats and mediums, and that the best way to go about it is to have a good understanding of, all these different possibilities of distributing your story. Yeah.
Distributing your story and the tools you can use to tell your story.
Exactly. And what are the best tools to tell your story? Yeah. And I have a real hope that I think the next generation coming up, the people who are in their late teens at the moment have that understanding. They are the generation that has grown up with YouTube. They don't really know anything else.
That's right, and gaming. And so it's always been a little bit like that. You have had to wait, for the people who actually control the money to kind of to have an understanding of where you're coming from and what you want to do. But it is going to be really interesting. And people who are in the gaming space, I think, are going to be actually have a big advantage when people wake up to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just can't believe it's still taking people time to wake up to this. So obviously 2017, it's an exciting future. It will be a new year for you with a new name.
Yes.
Janet Gator.
Yes, so a new name. Yes, I got married.
You're leaving Janet Carr with Good Game.
I'm leaving Janet Carr with Good Game and gonna adopt my married name for future projects.
Yes. So I'd like to leave you with the last word, I think. Well, at least in this section anyway, before I do the outro. I guess for you, Good Game has been your passion project. So would you like to say some words to our audience? Or about the team, or anything you want to say?
Yeah, of course I would. In the very first document I ever wrote for Good Game, there was this line which said, "We want to be the show without a screen between us and the audience, because we are gamers." And back then, gamers, there was a gaming press and it was excellent, but there wasn't a place really for gaming on the mainstream media. And I really felt that games were worthy of serious analysis. They were worthy of having some fun with, and they absolutely deserved a place on the ABC. But that would never have happened if the audience hadn't watched. And I feel so close to our audience, Lynn. I know many of them because I've met them at conventions, and we exchange messages all the time on Twitter and stuff. But the relationship that we have with our audience, I think, is unique in television. And it's to be, I hope one day someone in the future does a PhD on it or something, someone actually goes and really tries to analyse the fact. And it's way more than being on social media and putting up a post that the show's on at 8:30 on a Tuesday night. It's way more than that. It's about a genuine communication, about listening, and the audience informing us at every step of the way what they've enjoyed, what they don't enjoy. The fact that there's this ownership over Good Game that for me as a program maker, I'm a small cog in this program that celebrates this love affair that we have with games and our audience have with games. And I hope that we have been a truthful representative of the Australians' love of games, because I've always wanted us to be that. And I can't thank people enough for watching and coming on this journey with us, and the journey that is going to continue beyond my presence on the program anyway. And I'm looking forward to stepping into the audience side of things and being able to, be a part of the program from
the viewing side.
Well, the viewing side, but there's no gap. Yeah. There's no line between that. So yes, I won't be involved in deciding on a day-to-day basis what's in the program, but I will be deciding, because I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to be a viewer, and I'm going to be,
So you'll be sending us Facebook messages.
I totally am.
Telling us what you loved and what you didn't love.
I totally am.
Well, thank you so much, Janet, for making the show.
Lynn, thank you so much, and thank you for starting the podcast. Another example of how,
Well, it's all skill building, right? It's all storytelling.
It's storytelling, but it's also inviting conversation on wherever the audience would like to be. And, you're open and you're honest, and there's the information, and it's up to people if they want to listen or not. Yeah. But it's there, and we want people to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you. It's also therapy for everyone, so it's a good thing. Cheers. And that's it, folks. Another year of Good Game, and the first year for the Good Game Roundtable podcast. I hope to continue this in some form next year. If you have any comments or thoughts on the podcast, please tweet me at Eldrology or leave a comment on SoundCloud or Facebook. Thanks for listening and supporting all of us during our 10th anniversary year. 2016 has been a blast. Take care over the summer break, and we'll see you back in 2017.